Chapter 51. A Train's Whistling Moan. Got in trouble, had to roam, left my gal and left my home. I heard that lonesome whistle blow. Hank Williams. Looking with one eye open at Bill, with 1,000 square miles of sea rolling behind him, messing with his stupid knife amid the ancient grasses, as the unique dawn drama evolved its elusive crescendo into day. It all made me miss Fayaway in all her beauty and sanity, remembering how in the beginning, when the bus first left, I'd returned most days to the dent in the elephant grass, where we'd lain in the now purified little blue tent, which no matter how slow John drove, must have been with her by then at Judgment Ridge. A distant pain became most visceral as I closed my eye. I recalled a night that had been buried by the impact crater of the Prince's abomination. The night before I'd been delivered to him, we stopped at my grandmother's, and my Uncle Charlie was there. I stayed up with him while he drank whiskey. I loved his stories of hunting, fishing, being a Maine guide in his youth, and now an obstetrician to the wealthy in New York. It was obvious I was at a crossroads, and he told me whatever my life's plan, I should marry for money like he had, which paid for his house in New Jersey, next door to Jackie Kennedy. He told me about how he'd courted a potato magnate's daughter in Caribou, who drove a Duesenberg. He didn't marry her because she had fat ankles and her mother was obese. His charm worked on the young and old and was helpful in his job at the orifice, as his son called it. Just as he was telling his old orifice joke, a passing train whistle sounded, a long hollow moan, and there in the kitchen of the house he was born in, he teared up and stopped joking as the whistle sounded again further off. He told me he couldn't hear a train whistle without remembering the day when he was 4 years old and his mother boarded the train to go to a tuberculosis sanatorium where she fell in love with a car dealer and she never came back and he never forgot it. And I realized up there on the cliff that all his many affairs, his marrying for money, all his compulsive hitting on women, perhaps even his surgeries, were a vain attempt to get back at his mother's desertion. And I thought how free and simple my time with Fayaway had been, and how my Uncle Charlie's jokes were never simple. Only his stories about nature were without conflict, hidden in humor. And I opened my eyes and looked at Bill getting up. He tossed the Hubertus into his pack with a bileful air and said, "Fuck it." When all the blood of dawn was past, I closed my eyes to Bill, to the sun rising over the vast sea, to the whitening light. And I dreamed I was 4 years old, with my mother and father, driving into an overgrown rest area on a far-off turnpike. And I ran off on my own for fun, and they didn't follow. I turned back to see them driving away, and shouted after them, but they didn't hear. I threw a dirty snowball at the car to catch their attention, but I missed. Opening my eyes, I saw Bill had left the squat. The only other human thing was a shrimp boat a mile out. I listened to the morning breeze in the thousands of blades of grass, thinking, do what you like is a very weak kind of blind faith. I have no faith in what I like. I don't even know if what I like is what I do. Where is my faith? Do I have any at all in anything? What kind of life plan is marrying for money? What is that of faith in? And I saw the gravy train was leaving the station. Maybe I could throw a dirty snowball at it, marry for money, and become a useless toad, return to the loafer gods. This thought came with the hollow sound of a hollow wood block being struck. No, the gravy train left the station when I stuck a brush in the jar of acrid-smelling paint and told the tale of Mr. Rose, in a bravery that felt more like desperation. Now here I was at the mouth of heaven, and where was my faith? Nowhere to be seen.